The second night of the BTS Arirang World Tour in Busan was already destined to become one of the most memorable nights in BTS history. It was June 13, 2026, the group's 13th anniversary, and emotions filled every corner of Busan Asiad Main Stadium. Thousands of ARMY had traveled from every part of the world to celebrate this special milestone. Purple lights illuminated the entire venue. Fans sang together. The members laughed together. Throughout the evening, there was an unmistakable feeling that something extraordinary was about to happen. According to this emotional fictional narrative, the story began several hours before the concert started. A woman quietly entered the stadium wearing a simple white shirt and a yellow face mask that concealed much of her face. She attracted very little attention. Most people assumed she was just another fan attending the show. Yet in this fictional story, she carried a remarkable secret. She was imagined to be Jungkook's mother, arriving in Busan without informing her son, hoping to witness one of the most important nights of his career from only a short distance away. She slowly made her way toward the security barrier near the stage. Not because she wanted recognition, not because she wanted attention. She simply wanted to see her son, the boy who had left home years earlier chasing a dream that once seemed impossible. The boy who had become one of the most beloved performers in the world. To everyone else he was Jungkook of BTS, but to her, he was still the same child she had loved from the very beginning. As fans filled the stadium, whispers slowly began circulating through the crowd. Some ARMY noticed the woman. Others felt there was something strangely familiar about her. Conversations spread from one section to another. Questions quietly emerged throughout the venue. Could it really be her? Was Jungkook's mother actually here tonight? Had anyone told Jungkook? Nobody knew. The mystery only grew stronger as the hours passed. Meanwhile, backstage, Jungkook was entirely focused on the performance ahead. The anniversary celebration meant everything to him. 13 years of hard work. 13 years of memories. 13 years shared with his members and ARMY. He wanted this night to be perfect. According to the fictional story, he had absolutely no idea that someone incredibly important was standing only a short distance away. When the concert finally began, the atmosphere exploded with energy. The opening performances shook the stadium. Fans screamed with excitement. BTS delivered one spectacular stage after another. The anniversary celebration unfolded beautifully. Throughout it all, the mysterious woman remained near the barrier, quietly watching her son perform. As she watched, memories seemed to flood her mind. She remembered the young boy who loved music, the teenager who dared to dream bigger than anyone expected, the trainee who practiced endlessly despite uncertainty. Now that same boy stood before tens of thousands of people, inspiring millions around the world. The sight filled her heart with overwhelming pride. As the concert progressed, emotions grew stronger. The members shared stories from their journey. They reflected on their 13 years together. They thanked ARMY for never leaving their side. Several emotional moments brought tears to both the members and the audience. Then came the moment that changed everything. Near the end of the concert, according to the fictional narrative, Jungkook walked toward one side of the stage while interacting with fans. The crowd erupted with cheers as phones filled the air. Suddenly, he stopped. It lasted only a few seconds, but fans immediately noticed. His expression changed. His smile faded. Confusion appeared in his eyes as he stared toward the barrier. The audience followed his gaze. Standing there was the mysterious woman in the white shirt and yellow mask. At first, Jungkook seemed uncertain. The stadium lights were bright. The crowd was enormous. Perhaps he thought he was imagining things. Then slowly, the woman removed her mask. According to the emotional fictional story, time itself seemed to stop. The noise of the stadium faded into the background. The cheers became distant. Everything disappeared except the face standing before him. His mother. For several long seconds, Jungkook simply stood frozen, unable to speak, unable to move, unable to fully believe what he was seeing. The surprise was complete. Nobody had warned him. Nobody had prepared him. She had come entirely on her own. The audience watched in stunned silence. Among the members, Taehyung was one of the first to realize what had happened. Standing nearby, he looked toward Jungkook, then toward the woman. The realization slowly appeared on his face. His usual playful smile disappeared, replaced by an expression of pure emotion. According to the fictional story, Taehyung instinctively stepped closer, as if ready to support his best friend through the overwhelming moment. Jungkook's eyes quickly filled with tears. This was the same Jungkook who performed confidently before millions. The same Jungkook who filled stadiums around the world. Yet in that moment, he was simply a son unexpectedly seeing his mother. As tears rolled down his face, Taehyung remained nearby, visibly emotional himself. Fans watching the giant screens noticed him wiping away tears while smiling warmly. The sight of Jungkook reuniting with his mother touched him deeply. Years of friendship allowed him to understand exactly how much this moment meant. According to the fictional story, security carefully allowed the woman to move closer. Jungkook stepped forward. The stadium fell silent. Then came the moment nobody would ever forget. Jungkook embraced his mother. For a brief moment, the superstar disappeared. The performer disappeared. The global celebrity disappeared. There was only a mother and her son. The crowd erupted into emotional applause. Many fans openly cried. Others hugged the people beside them. The scene felt almost unreal. Jungkook buried his face against his mother's shoulder while years of memories, sacrifices, and emotions seemed to return all at once. His mother gently comforted him, just as she had when he was younger, just as she had before the world knew his name. Nearby, Taehyung watched with tears in his eyes and a proud smile on his face. RM looked deeply moved. Jin wiped his eyes. Jimin appeared emotional. Suga quietly observed the touching scene. J-Hope's warm smile never faded. For a few unforgettable minutes, the massive stadium felt less like a concert venue and more like a family reunion. The audience understood something important that night. Behind every successful artist stands a family. Behind every achievement stands someone who believed from the beginning. Behind every dream fulfilled stands someone who encouraged it long before the world noticed. As the embrace ended, Jungkook looked out across the sea of purple lights. The audience responded with thunderous applause. Not applause for a performance, but applause for love, sacrifice, gratitude, and family. Whether real or imagined, this fictional story resonated because it reflected something universal. The love between a parent and child. A love stronger than distance, stronger than time, stronger than fame itself. And according to this emotional fictional narrative, on BTS's 13th anniversary in Busan, that love became the most unforgettable moment of the entire celebration. Disclaimer: this is a fictional fan-created story written for entertainment purposes only. It is not based on verified events and does not describe real actions or appearances by Jungkook, his family members, or any BTS member. As the final song came to an end, Busan Asiad main stadium transformed into a breathtaking ocean of purple light. Tens of thousands of ARMY continued singing long after the music had stopped, unwilling to let the night end. According to this emotional fictional story, Jungkook stood quietly at the center of the stage, taking in everything around him. Before him were the fans who had supported BTS for 13 incredible years. Beside him stood the 6 members who had shared every triumph, struggle, and unforgettable memory of the journey. And somewhere near the stage was the woman who had believed in him long before the world knew his name. At that moment, the celebration felt bigger than an anniversary concert. It felt like the completion of a circle that had begun years ago with a young boy chasing a dream that few people thought was possible. As the members prepared for their final farewell, Taehyung looked toward Jungkook and smiled warmly. He could see that his friend was still overwhelmed with emotion. Without needing words, the years of friendship between them spoke for themselves. According to the fictional narrative, Jungkook glanced one last time toward his mother and felt a wave of gratitude unlike anything he had ever experienced. The awards, the records, the sold-out stadiums, and the global recognition suddenly seemed smaller compared to the people who had stood beside him from the very beginning. The crowd continued cheering, but for Jungkook, the loudest message that night was not coming from the audience. It came from the silent presence of family, friendship, and unconditional love. It reminded him that every success story begins with someone who believes in you before anyone else does. As fireworks illuminated the Busan sky and the final purple lights shimmered across the stadium, the night slowly came to a close. Yet according to this fictional story, The memory that remained was not a performance, a dance break, or even the anniversary celebration itself. It was the image of a son unexpectedly reunited with the person who had supported him long before fame arrived, while his closest friends stood nearby sharing in the moment. Long after the stage went dark and the fans returned home, that emotional memory continued to live in their hearts. Because at its core, this story was never just about Jungkook, BTS, or a concert in Busan. It was about something universal. The idea that no matter how far we travel, how much we achieve, or how brightly we shine, the love of family and the support of those who truly care about us will always be the light that guides us home.